Hello, my name is Jordan Wolfson. I am a painter and a teacher. I've been painting for over 45 years, exhibiting nationally and internationally, and teaching for over 25 years, reaching hundreds of students. And I am sending this video out as the second in a few videos to explain about an upcoming course, Painting Power and Presence, an 8-month training that I'll be offering in the beginning of September. If you haven't seen the first video that came out, please take a look at that. And in this one, well, where I speak a bit about why I made it, what it's about, how I think it will make a difference for you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the structure, the actual program, how it's put together, the different components and parts, how it works. So before I get into that, the structure, I want to speak for a moment about presence. What is it? What does that have to do with painting? So, you know, when we go into museums and we see great painting, I'm always thinking of those Rembrandt self-portraits, but so many, Titian's and Matisse and Cézanne. There's something, of course, visually that has enormous power and beauty, but then there's this kind of invisible impact. There's this kind of invisible energetic force that I'm calling presence. And it's this curious experience because my access to the presence is through seeing the painting. But the experience of presence is not visual, it's invisible. Presence is this awake sense of being. And when we are deeply engaged in our making, when the painter is deeply engaged in their making, somehow that deep engagement, that life force, that vitality gets into the material, and the material takes on that vibe. It vibrates. It has this energetic vibration that carries presence. So when we deeply engage in our work, not only are we feeling empowered in our life, somehow this work is carrying an energy that ends up transferring, making itself available to others. Somehow this life force that I am engaging with, and as I'm working, becomes participatory. And that's why when we see great work in museums, there is this incredible aliveness. Well, after a particularly great exhibition or something like that, I'm like charged. I'm like, life is good. So that's important, particularly today. We need that. So that's a bit about presence. In order for that kind of alchemical thing to take place, when we work, we need to be present. We need to show up fully. And I will talk a whole lot about that and what that entails in the course. A great deal of the course is built around that. So, okay. So, the structure of the course. So there are really three parts to the course. I mean, it kind of gets more than that, but there's painting as inner engagement, which really has two sections, where we will be working with foundational skills of drawing and painting within the context of a mindfulness practice. So drawing from observation and non-representationally, and learning how to be present with that, how to that's the real context. And we'll be working with some foundational skill development, like measuring and value relationships and color tonal relationships, those sorts of things, but not in order to become more proficient, but as a way of developing our curiosity, as a way of strengthening our present tense engagement, present moment being here. So that's painting as inner engagement. And that has 8 weeks. And then another 8 weeks. So that's sort of the fall into the winter. And then once we move into the winter, there will be 8 weeks of painting as creative empowerment. And that's when we'll be working directly with emotional states. Very often our emotions can work to inhibit and constrict our creative engagement. We may feel anxious, or we may feel, who am I to be doing this? Or we may just feel really frustrated, all those kinds of aspects of emotional energy. And we'll be working with that and exploring how to use that directly in our making. And then the last 8 weeks will be composition as an awareness practice. What does that mean? What is composition as a creative discipline? How does that work? And how does that enlist our awareness? What does that entail? What is peripheral vision? How important is that in composition? And what does that have to do with awareness? And being in our bodies and listening with our bodies and our torso. All of these sorts of pieces will come into play in that last 8-week section in composition as an awareness practice. So that goes through for 32 weeks. And along with that, we'll be having a reading group every other week where we will go through and discuss different readings that are relevant and pertinent to the things that we're going to be working with. And there will be monthly individual sessions where I'll be meeting with you one-on-one. We'll do a Zoom and going through your process and your questions and your work and your journey. So we'll be doing that together. And there is a community, online community page through Mighty Networks. No Facebook, no algorithm, no ads, no data mining, just good, warm online community. It's been wonderful. And there's a way of sharing, and it's very, very good. All of the sessions are recorded, so you'll have access to that the whole time. What am I missing? Right, and then while we are, so each session will be 2.5 hours, which will give us time for demos, for conversation, for you to be working, for us to look at your work together while we're working as well. So if you're interested in doing that, it's not necessary. It's kind of open. But I want to give us enough time online in each session that we can really kind of pursue the exercise together and talk about it. So I've taught all of these different sections, the painting as inner engagement, and painting as creative empowerment, and composition as an awareness practice. I've done all of those before, and it's been great seeing how it's contributed to everyone's work and opening and in deeper engagement, but I've never put them all together before as one program, and this is the first time, and I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to be incredible, actually. So some folks have mentioned some concern about committing for 8 months. It's a chunk of time. I get that. But I also want to put this in the context of a lifetime of painting. And there's 8 months really isn't that much time when you talk about transforming your painting practice. And we need that kind of intense involvement, that ongoing intensity for a period of time for things to really kind of take hold and shift and change. Also, some of you may have prior commitments. I totally get that. And there will be the possibility of participating through a la carte registration. So you can have, perhaps this section or the reading group, or so those will be available for folks that aren't taking the whole course, but the priority will go to the core group. As long as there are openings, then it's available. It will cost a bit more. The program itself ends up discounting quite a bit for all of this, but there will be that availability. And oh yeah, I wanted to mention that I have brought in a software called Affirm, and so that it makes it possible to break the tuition up into installments. So you can break up the tuition cost to 3 months, or 6 months, or 12 months. So that's also a possibility for you to make that whole thing easier. What else? I think that sort of covered those pieces. Look for my next video that I'll be sending out in a few days. It will be covering some of the transformations you can expect, some of the shifts, some of the outcomes from the course that I've seen in each of these different sections. So it'll be great to see what happens with the whole thing. So thank you for listening and taking the time to hear about this program that's coming up. And if this is interesting for you, please click on the link below and learn more about the program that's coming up. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Take care. Keep painting.